Good morning and evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the Bonnie J. Adario Lung Cancer Living Room and Patient Educational Series. I'm Bonnie, and thank you for joining us. From our living room to yours. We are all living with lung cancer, and our goal is to bring hope into your home. Empowered patients live longer, and our message is simple. We want you to live.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to the living room. Everyone here and everyone out there online who's watching in, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a great night tonight. I sent you guys an email about Johnny. I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to hit the link and go see some of the amazing things he's doing out there in Chicago and around the country. But he's going to speak a little bit later, tell you guys his story and about what he's doing over there. We're going to start like we normally do with an around the room. Just a couple of things. I don't know if you guys noticed when you came in, and for anybody who's watching online, it's now available on our website, but it's a list of speaker presentations through March or April. So you can go on and look and see who's coming, what the topic's going to be, all of that kind of good stuff. And talk about the run and all that kind of stuff after.
Yeah, we'll do it after.
We have a guest, Hope Baroni Falk, who just started this really amazing assistance program. So I'm gonna let her kind of tell her story when we hit her. And if you didn't sign in, please sign in on your way out. Sally, do you want to start? Oh, and don't forget your microphones, please. Johnny won't be able to hear you.
Hi, I'm Sally, and I was through early detection, was found quite early, and I was very fortunate and had my lower right lobe removed, and knock on wood, I'm 1A, and I have remained that way for 3.5 years, so I'm looking forward to staying that way.
Hi everyone, my name's Elaine Gray, and I just moved here from Carmel. Lived there 46 years. It's not a culture shock exactly, but there's a lot of traffic up here. I just finished my chemo. I've had stage 4 cancer for 4.5 years. I've had every kind of chemo anyone could have, and wonderful doctors in Carmel. And I'm going to Dr. Dormady tomorrow. And I've never driven to Mountain View on El Camino. This is big for me. In Carmel and Monterey, there's only one freeway. I mean, that's the way to go. But anyway, I'm looking forward to meeting him and getting a second opinion from him as well. But I fought the good fight, and I will tell you, in between my chemos, I'm sick for a little while, which is to be expected. That's my history. But as soon as I start feeling good, I feel wonderful and very blessed. I have the most wonderful family, which is why I moved up here. And they're showing me everywhere to go. And I'm so happy to be here tonight. We had our cancer wellness group in Monterey and Carmel. This is pretty fancy here, really nice. So thank you.
My name's Elizabeth Lacasia. I'm stage 4 bronchioalveolar carcinoma, which is a non-small cell carcinoma. I am on a clinical trial, and I am on I believe, my 49th cycle of what was originally Tarceva and Alimta, and I've now been off the Alimta for about 15 cycles due to probably toxicities. I was having intestinal issues. My creatinine, which is my liver function, started going wonky, and when those values got too far off, my doctor, Dr. Gandara, decided to drop the Alimta, and knock on wood, the Tarceva has been holding me at my complete response. He calls me his well baby. So I'm delighted about that, because don't want to be having any more surgeries or anything like that. I need what I have left, because I've already had my lower left lobe removed and my upper right wedge resection done, and I've been through 2 different rounds of chemos, and I currently stay on the Tarceva and will probably be on Tarceva for as long as it works and on chemo for the rest of my life. So welcome to everyone, and I also feel extremely grateful and happy to be here. So hopefully everybody gets to be a poster child.
Hi, I'm Mary, and I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in October 2010, and I immediately went on carboplatin, Alimta, and Avastin, and I did 12 rounds of all those, and then just took the Avastin one time because it started causing, and then I stopped because it caused problems for my kidneys, which now, and then in November, I did target radiation on my tumor on my lung and on a spot on my spine. And I don't, maybe there's new people out there, so I just want to say that at first I was diagnosed with acid reflux, and for several, like 3 years, I asked my doctor for a CAT scan, and they didn't diagnose, or they didn't screen for lung cancer with CAT scans. So I didn't find out I had lung cancer until I got pneumonia, and then I asked my doctor again for. She decided to give me a X-ray. And then the next day I got the CAT scan because they saw something on the X-ray and it was cancer. And that's that. So anyway, at the moment, I haven't been on any kind of treatment since November. And I feel fabulous. However, there is a new tumor, I think. So I'm either going to have target radiation again or Tarceva. I'll have another CAT scan in a month, and I'll find out. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Linda Smith, and I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer a year ago this month, and I have the EGFR mutation, so I am on Tarceva, and I called Danielle to see if she could give me an appointment with Dr. Gandera so I can get a second opinion on what happens when Tarceva doesn't work. And I appreciate it very much.
So far you've been stable.
And so far I've been stable, yes. And next week I'm having my next CT scan, so.
I'm Esty, and I had stage 1 lung cancer 9 years ago, found by accident. I had surgery, and they just monitor once a year now. And I have CTs once a year, and I don't need chemo or radiation because they found it in stage 1. Thank you.
They have one. Esty, Terry, do you want to? And then you can, or Neil can start. It doesn't matter.
Hi, I'm Neil. I have stage 4 adenocarcinoma. Diagnosed a year ago, June. July 14th, started Tarceva, so very similar to what you have. And about a week and a half ago at the last meeting that I had with my doctor, I had kind of thought that progression had started, and the CT showed that, yes, it had. So I did about 13 months on that. And yesterday I went to what I call, kind of jokingly, the needle. At Stanford, I had my first infusion, which was Alimta and carboplatin. And so about 30 hours ago is when I had that. And it was kind of an interesting experience there, and then looking forward to future ones. So far, no side effects to this point, but it's only been a day, and I kind of have an idea of what to expect. I do have to suggest to anyone and everyone that if you're able to And as some of you know, I'm a very avid exerciser and long-distance cyclist and runner, and very much continue to do that yesterday afternoon and also today, and I'll do it tomorrow. And I have a motto, which is never give up, never give up, never give in, and as much as I can. And also to those of you who at some point will probably progress in Tarceva, if you have not already looked at, you should be following the phase 3 trials of afatinib and is it cetuximab, which some of that work is being done at the University of Colorado and is starting to show some pretty good results, although the finals have not yet been made available as the trial still continues. But it's listed as the second generation EGFR type of medication. So it's something to look at, and the trial was a possibility for me. I opted not to at this time, and hopefully we'll wait for it to be available in 2013 after it gets approved for prescription from my doctor. I do have to say it is an interesting journey. I never thought I'd be hooked up to IV and have chemicals put into my body, IV for saline solution after a race maybe, but not with chemotherapy. So that's something that I learned a lot about in the last few days, and now I have some firsthand experience on it. And it is a little less scary after day one, but I'll give you a better update a month from now.
Oh, you want to go back to Terry, Neil? Sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Terry Fry. I'm actually here as a support person for my daughter. She was diagnosed in March of 2010 when she was 32, and she's been on chemotherapy for 2.5 years now. She started off with the 3, carboplatin, Alimta, and Avastin, went down to the 2, was on Avastin and Alimta for, gosh, about 18 months, and then she stopped Avastin probably around January of this year, and is still doing well. Last March, her CAT scan did show some growth in the one spot that's left in her left lung, so we thought it was on the move, but just last week she went in and did the biopsy with Dr. Krishna, and he poked around and everything came out negative. So now she was planning on getting radiation. She had fiducials put in during the process, but now because everything came back negative, it makes her decision a lot harder. So, but one of the things that I wanted to bring up is the way that we found out about Dr. Krishna and the way that he goes in and does a non-invasive way of getting biopsies was here at the Living Room. So it's a wonderful resource, and we probably wouldn't have known about Dr. Krishna if it wasn't due to the Living Room. So thank you.
Oh, there's a... Marge, will you hand the mic, sorry, back to them so they don't have to... Then we'll come back around. Let's do them first, and then we'll come to you. That would be great. She doesn't want to. That's okay. It's you.
My name is Marjorie, and I was I can't talk. On June 1st of 4 years ago.
Was it
3?
9 or 10? Yeah.
I don't know. I feel great. I don't feel like I ever had it. I've even forgotten how bad and awful the chemo was. So I want to say, as far as I know, nothing has changed. I stay with it. I have to have one more CAT scan. But other than that, we'll see.
I'm the tag along that tries to keep her in time and right place and right time.
We got one here.
It should be on.
Is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Tina, and I was diagnosed in it's almost 2 years.
2010.
Almost coming up in 2 years. With stage 3B, and I've been on Tarceva for a year now, and after completing chemo and radiation. And I'm seeing my doctor tomorrow for my 1 year of clean scans. So that'll be, hopefully everything will go great. And I'm really happy to be here too. I love the living room. I heart the living room.
Joyce, can she hear me? I'm assuming she's sitting back there because she's... Joyce, are you sitting back there? No, she doesn't want to. Okay. So thank you for everyone's updates. Welcome to people who are new and here for the first time. What I forgot to mention at the beginning was you probably noticed that Bonnie's not here. And I don't know how many of you may have heard or might be her friend on Facebook, but she has been in Africa with my youngest, my sister, and my sister's oldest. They are coming home tomorrow. I cannot wait to see all of their faces. They've been gone for about 11 days.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I think about 11 days. They've had an amazing time. I did speak to her briefly this morning. She's exhausted. The original plan was that she and my dad were going to take the 2 grandkids on this really amazing, once-in-a-lifetime trip. We joke that it's more because my dad wanted to go to Africa and needed an excuse, so he was going to bring the kids. But he unfortunately wasn't able to go at last minute, so my sister stepped in, and I'm sure we'll hear all about it at the next living room. But that's why she's not here. She's on a plane on her way back from Africa. So. Hope, do you want to just kind of really quick before we knock into Johnny and what he's doing, kind of talk about, I met Hope through Neil and his wife Evie, actually. We met last week. She came in and she's offering this service, and I kind of want her to tell her story and introduce herself to you. Not that any of you necessarily in the room might need it at this point, but if you hear of anybody that does, what she's doing is pretty amazing. So, Hope.
Thank you. My name is Hope Barone Falk, and about, let's see, after I had been married just over a year to my husband, all of a sudden he got really tired and we couldn't figure out why. And long story short, we ended up in the emergency room and found out that he had gastric cancer. He was 36 years old, and it was right at the junction of his stomach and his esophagus, and adenocarcinoma. And we went through a few rounds of chemo. I recognize all those drugs that you're talking about. That many of those were similar ones that he used, and had very good hopes that they were going to be able to operate and remove it and then do some more chemo and we could go on with our lives. But unfortunately, it didn't quite work out that way. We ended up having to go to MD Anderson in Houston and getting a second opinion there with some specialists, going through a chemo and radiation course there, then coming back here to prepare for surgery, and found out that the cancer had spread explosively through the chemo and the radiation that he was undergoing at that time. So did a little bit more chemo after that for a little more time, and he passed away after just under 10 months of aggressive treatment. So it was that whole experience unfortunately taught me a whole lot about the medical system and about how to navigate this insane maze of healthcare in cancer. I had 2 different oncologists here that he worked with, plus MD Anderson and different surgeons, and I had to be the quarterback for that entire process and figure out how to do it, because I'll never forget when the gastroenterologist took me into the little room that first day to tell me that it was cancer. I thought, oh, I have to be calm, and I have to find out what to do. And so I said, so what do I do next? And he just stared at me and said, I don't know. And there was a long, awkward pause. And then he said, do you have children? And I said, no. And he said, okay, well, you can talk with Dr. Ekstrand, who was the oncologist that was assigned, and that was it. And I never had an opportunity to have a social worker or anyone that really like stepped in to tell you all the things that you need to know that aren't the clinical things. I mean, you all know, you get tons of advice. Everybody tells you everything to do with every chemo and with every, radiation and all of the side effects, but no one tells you how to run your life. And how to keep organized and how to, manage and what to expect and what notes are important to take, how to prepare for an appointment with a doctor and make sure you have all your questions lined up and things like that. And I figured it out through trial and error and by navigating. And the difference between a big teaching research hospital and a small local community hospital, it's a totally different game. And we had to navigate through all of that. And so after he passed away and when I tried to decide what I wanted to do with my life, I realized that the corporate world isn't where I'm at anymore and that I want to be able to take the knowledge that I gained from this experience and provide that service for cancer patients. So my company is called Hope Assistance. My mother named me well, and and so if you know of anybody or if you yourself have a need for personal assistant services, that's what I label it as. Sometimes you just need someone to pick up your prescriptions from Walgreens, and that's the most important thing. Or maybe there's a day that you need someone to sit with you on chemo day and make sure that you get home and get a glass of water when you need it and things like that. It's not the clinical stuff. It's all the other things that fall into place, and I enjoy doing that, and that's why I'm here. So thanks.
Thanks, Hope.
Liz has a question.
Go ahead. Yeah, with the mic.
One of the challenges of going through this whole incredible experience was first of all, trying to keep yourself together through all the treatment and everything like that. But one of the biggest challenges was trying to figure out the healthcare system and, more importantly, the insurance companies. And, I was working at the time when I was diagnosed, and then I had surgery, and then I went back to work, and then my reoccurrence came. And I tried to continue working until I got to a point where the chemo essentially was just affecting my brain so much that I just honestly couldn't be productive. So I went on to Cobra, and then I went on to CalCobra. And the whole process, I think, is really rather arduous. I mean, I was very lucky. My husband was able to help me, but even so, the learning curve, just trying to understand getting the qualification as being disabled through Social Security, and then being transitioned kicking and screaming from my insurance company, which I loved my coverage, and I was very afraid of going on to Medicare, but transitioned into Medicare and all these different things. And, even going through and trying to figure out, okay, Medicare and what one should I get, and should I get the supplemental and all these sort of things. And you are adrift. Do you help with that sort of thing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's the other side. I mean, there's the physical, everyday things, and then I call that the administrative side of what I do. Actually, my career prior to this is in human resources and in benefits, so that's actually where my background and my strength lies the most. Is each insurance company is different. It's not like it's universal. And so, and Cobra and all of that, that you get so much paper. That's what's so amazing, is the amount of paper.
For standard of care and all these sort of things, and all you're trying to do is just get the treatment that you need, let alone trying to argue with an insurance company. So I'm sure my experience is not unique. I'm sure a lot of people that are undergoing that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the just dealing with the mail sometimes is the biggest service that I can provide. So, yeah.
So I have all of Hope's information and cards and everything for anybody who's interested afterwards. And now, what I'd like to do is introduce one of my most favorite people, and I don't think he can see me the way that webcam's set up. But I'm here. You know what I look like. I want to introduce everybody to Johnny. who's been so kind as to join us via Skype. And I asked him to kind of sit in a little early just so he'd get to know you guys and who he was talking to, and some of the amazing people that I've met through this, and I wanted him to meet them too. So, Johnny.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Scott. Can you guys hear me okay? We're good? Thumbs up? All right, good. Let me know if you guys can't hear me. I'll try to project it a little louder. But thank you, Danielle, and thank you, Scott, and thank you for that comfortable living room. It looks amazing there. I wish I was there with you guys in Northern California. I'm in Chicago. Thank each one of you guys for sharing your stories and your cancer experiences. And I'm really glad I was able to come early and really get to know each one of you and hear a little bit about your background and what treatments you're going through. What I'm going to do is I will tell you guys a little bit about my own personal cancer experience, just a little bit. And please ask any questions or stop me anywhere during. I'm as open as they come. I'll answer anything and everything. Nothing makes me uncomfortable, as Danielle and Scott know. So please don't be shy. And then I'll tell you a little bit about an organization that we work really, really close with, the guys you're with right now, and every other cancer group, to help connect the dots in the cancer world, which was the biggest crack in the system that I saw and a group of survivors saw when we were going through our own treatments, was just the isolation. You know, that people fight this thing, and oftentimes you don't know a survivor just like you. So I'll start off a little bit, tell you guys my quick background. My name is Johnny Immerman. I grew up right outside Detroit. I'm 37 today, and I live in Chicago now. I've been here for about 7 years. But when I was 26, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer. And what I went through was a surgery in my left testicle. That was step one. They had to remove the left testicle. Then step two, I had to bank sperm. You know what? Let me grab a glass of water real quick. My voice, I talk a lot. It's already starting to go. 1 second. I can tell it's already starting to go here. Next time I'll have that closer. So step two was I had to bank sperm. As a 26-year-old and a single guy, my doctor said, look, there's a good chance you're going to be sterile. You can't have your own children. So I went in and banked sperm. And then step three, I had a port. As you guys all know very well, this language, the group that I'm talking to, my port was in my left arm. It was in my bicep, and surgically implanted, of course. And then I did bleomycin, etoposide, and cisplatin. So I had 3 different chemos. My chemos were the first week of every cycle, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, about 7-8 hours a day. And then the next just 1 day, and then the third week just 1 day. And that was a full cycle, a full 3-week cycle. And my cancer was somewhat advanced. It spread from my left testicle up into my abdomen and behind my kidneys. So, of course, that's why they jumped into chemo. I did chemo for about 4 months, 5 months. And then afterwards, my scans were totally clear. So at that point, I'm just about 27 years old. And, you know, as we all know, mentally, physically, you're beaten down. But you, as Neil said earlier, you know, you don't give up. You don't give in. You keep charging ahead, and you have to build back up emotionally, physically. And 27, I started to build back up slowly. And about a year later, as I'm just starting to get back in the gym and feel like myself, on a checkup CAT scan, they found 4 tumors behind my kidneys, sort of near my spine. So I had to go in through an 11-inch surgery vertically through my stomach, and really straight up and down. And they took my stomach, my liver, kidneys, intestines, all my organs out of my body and then over to the side. Cut the 4 tumors out of the back near the spine, and then took all the organs and put them right back in where they should be, in the right spot. And then stitched my stomach muscle up, and then 60 staples vertically up and down. And at 28 and a half or so, you know, about 2.5 years into this whole cancer experience, at that point, as we all know, you look at this whole experience in a totally different light. You look at life in a different light. And, you know, as a young guy, I just kind of looked at everything and said, you know, I've got to do something to help other people. I've got to find some sense and some purpose in all of this. And I prayed every morning and every night when I was sick that if I lived, you know, I would do something to give back. I wouldn't turn the cheek and pretend that there wouldn't be others who are fighting and do something about it. So what I truly believe is that, it's the obligation of the cured, it's the duty of the survivors to find a crack in the system, because we're the ones that lived through this. We're the ones that experienced it. We were there day in and day out in the trenches. And who better to look in the system and say, here's a crack. Here's a gap. Here's something that should be repaired. And who better to fix it than a group, hundreds, maybe thousands of cancer survivors together. And the crack that I'm really talking about was the only crack that I had in the system when I was diagnosed and went through my treatments. I had the most amazing mom in the world. She was there every minute, every chemo, every surgery. She slept at the hospital when I was overnight. My brothers were great. My friends were great. I had 15 people around me. It was kind of a room like this during every one of my chemos. I was very lucky, very blessed, very unusual, as we all know. But the one missing piece, that crack in the system, was I looked around at this group of people in front of me, and as great as they were, no one could look me back in the eye and say, I've been there. I get this. I had the exact same thing. I fought through it. It was hard, but I beat it, and I'm back. Or I'm living with it, and I'm strong. But I've done this before, and I get it, and I'm just like you. And I asked my doctors, I asked my nurses, are there any young people here in the 20s that are kind of like me? And my docs were amazing, but they looked at me and they said, we're really sorry. There's nobody here. You're the youngest guy here. Sorry. And so, I sort of knew that there was a missing piece. There should be more that we can do in this cancer world to connect these dots. And I knew there were survivors out there somewhere. So what we did is we started networking to cancer survivors and building a network of what we call angels. And my mom actually named this in the early days when she met some of these angels, these survivors, and she said these people are like angels. They're such giving, good people who just want to help and give back and motivate other people with cancer. They're such grateful survivors. They don't want anything from anyone. They just want to give. You should call this Zimmerman Angels. And we're recruiting cancer survivors and taking them out to lunch or coffee and getting to know them and saying, tell me your story. And then creating a database of survivors, which today is over 4,000 cancer survivors worldwide, in over 60 countries, all 50 states, of course, California included. And basically what we do, each angel, each survivor gets matched one-to-one with somebody diagnosed today with the same diagnosis, who's the same age, same gender, same treatments, whether it's Tarceva and Olympia. We find somebody that's had Tarceva and Olympia and is 4 or 5 years beyond and says, I'm just like you, and I'll be your big brother. And one-to-one, we link them up. Super, super simple model. It's nothing complicated. It's nothing like rocket science. It's just simply saying that we, the survivors, those that have gotten through any type of cancer, need to share our story one-to-one to motivate, inspire, and encourage somebody through the same fight. Somebody that's at step one of the marathon when we know that it's 26.2 miles. And somebody's crossed that finish line. That guy's got to come back to the starting line, help these guys out. We also match caregivers. So again, it's always one-to-one, but we'll match somebody, let's say, who's a husband or a wife to another person that says, my husband or wife had that same thing 5 years ago. I've gone through it. I'm just like you, and I'll help you out. And it could be a mother, maybe a mother of a 5-year-old with ALL leukemia. And the mother calls Zimmerman Angels and says, I'm in shock. My little daughter, Roseanne, she has ALL leukemia. And we're starting chemo next week. We're alone. We're terrified. The world's been flipped. We want to get those two parents, hook those two parents up with another set of parents that can say, our kid's 12, and she was the same age. She had the same thing. These two parents mentored these other two parents that are just starting their fight. In another situation, which is another example of what we do to connect all these dots, is if you get somebody who sadly is 35 years old, and I know a woman spoke of this earlier and lost her 35-year-old husband, Hope. And their Hope, thanks for sharing your story, Hope. And that Hope, someone like Hope, is a perfect example who unfortunately loses her husband to cancer. If we had met you right when that happened, Hope, we would hook you up with another woman who can say, guess what, I'm 40. And you know what, 6 years ago, I lost my husband to the same cancer. And 6 years later, I never dreamed I would be where I am today, but I'm in a much, much better place. And it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of effort and a lot of, I'm not giving up, but I've got to a better space. I understand you. I've shared this same experience, and I'm a woman just like you, one-to-one. You know, I'm here as your resource to help you. And there's someone like Hope down the road. When she gets to a peaceful place, Hope can become one of the angels to mentor another mother that may call us in Alaska or call us in London or South Africa who's going through the same thing. And Hope can say, I've been there, I'll help you. So it's just this cycle, this chain of one-to-one of all of us sharing our stories with a like-minded individual who's just starting to help out. So that's what we do every day. It's a very, very simple mission, obviously. You know, we don't do the great things that you're doing right now, like support groups or people coming together in the living room. We outsource. We tell our people that call us, if they're looking for this, we send people to groups like you are, or like a Gilda's Club, or a cancer support community. Or someone else earlier brought up insurance questions. I went through the same thing. I was on chemo, you're so sick, and they're sending you insurance letter after insurance letter. And I just started piling them up. I just remember the piles getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And I kind of stared at it in the corner. And the more I looked at it, the more I'd push it deeper in the corner instead of to think about it. Because I'm like, I have cancer right now. I don't have time to think about all these papers. But there's a great organization out of Hampton, Virginia called the Patient Advocate Foundation. And it's as simple as this. All you got to do is take that stack, put it in a big envelope, and ship it to them and call them, and they'll help you. They are experts. They're all insurance experts for free. There's 250 employees in their amazing organization, and they will go through all of your insurance bills. They will look at your policy. They'll go to bat for you, and they'll figure it out for you so you can focus on living. And you can focus on fighting cancer. And I just think it's so important, the collaboration and the teamwork within all these different cancer groups, that we all do different things, we all have our niches, but we all need to know each other to make sure people can find the right node in the network at the right time. And the only way that gets done is if we're all talking to each other and we're all interlinked and we're all friends with each other. But there's almost one group for every one of these needs. Our need, again, with Immerman Angels that we're trying to tackle is the one-on-one connection. So nobody fights alone. There's over 4,000 mentors that are all volunteers worldwide. And we've helped over 8,000 people and families since we started in 2002, in 10 years. We've been full-time since 2006. There's 5 of us full-time in Chicago, and 4 of us are cancer survivors, and I'm the oldest one in the office at 37. So we're all childhood survivors or we're young adult survivors. And I don't want to mislead and say we only help young people. We help people in the 80s. We've helped people. I think the oldest person we ever helped was 91 and sharp as a tack, living in Florida. I still remember the phone call. And you can be any age. You can be any cancer. You can be any stage level. And it could be someone living with cancer, knowing that they're probably not going to beat it, but they might ride it out for 5, 10 years plus, maybe longer. Who knows, right? I mean, we've seen people do it. Anyone, any age touched by this will find someone who can help out. And that's the whole goal of Immerman Angels. Before I go on and on, because we do get excited, as Danielle and Scott know, and I'll probably keep talking and talking, I want to answer questions from you all about our program, our service, my views on how to make this cancer world a better place or how better to all work together. Whatever you guys want to talk about, I want you guys to really steer the ship. So I'm not assuming what you guys are wondering. I want you guys to please ask me, and I'll tell you anything. And there's no questions out of bounds. You guys can really steer this conversation. Is there anyone with any questions? Neil, please.
Neil's got one.
How do you define the person who will be the mentor? Let's say it's someone who has or has had cancer. So is it someone who has to be the typical 5-year survivor situation, or is it someone who, like myself, has had it for just over a year, at least since diagnosis, and will continue to have it? Could I be a mentor for someone who's diagnosed tomorrow that I could help?
Thank you, Neil. It's a great question. It's completely up to you. And because we take it on a case-by-case basis, and everyone who contacts Zimmerman Angels, they will talk to you, Neil. One of our survivors in our office will speak to you personally on every side, on the people that reach out to help others as an angel, on the people that are looking for support and get matched, but you talk to us. So nothing really, I want to be real clear that it's not, we're kind of like Match.com of the cancer world. We get that all the time. But the difference is, well, the difference is, of course, that we're cancer people. This isn't dating. But the other big difference is, of course, that it's not all online, where it's Match.com. You know, you type in things and it spits out a name, or you look at people. This is, we spread the word that we're here, but then people could sign up on our website, but then we're going to call you, or we're going to Skype you if you live across the world. So we're going to talk to everybody. And the answer to your question, Neil, is there's no rules on how that works. You may say, I'm a year out, which you are. You may have called us 2 months out and said, look, I'm 2 months into this, and this is where I'm at. And you could call and say, I'm 10 years. I mean, whatever you feel, if you need help, number one, if you need help, we can match you up as a 1-year guy with maybe a guy that's 10 years. That's a veteran, that's farther along than you, to help you, if that's what you need. So it's all based on your needs, and you come to us. And you may say, Johnny, this is Neil, I'm in a great place. I'm in a stable situation. Here's my motto. I'm not giving up. I feel great. I want to help other people. You know, I want to motivate somebody else who's 1 month, because I'm 1 year. And that's fine too. And then by talking to you, we get all these notes into your profile. We create a profile of Angel Neil in our network. And then we have we use Salesforce.com as our technology system. We just upgraded actually about a month ago. It's 4.0. It's our 4th version. We're always upgrading it. And I think this is hopefully the last upgrade, because right now it seems to be working the most efficiently we've ever had it with all of our data and information. But you would sit as an angel, Neil, in our network, and then maybe a month or two goes by, or maybe even 6 months, and somebody calls and says, I'm 1 month into it, you know, I'd love to meet a guy, and starts describing someone just like you. We would find you in the network, call you first to check in and say, hey, Neil, you know, we've already trained you, you're in the network, you're in the system, is it a good time? And you always have the option at that point to say, you know what, I'm actually not in a good place right now, or I'm traveling in Europe, I'm going to be gone for 3 months, not a good time to be a mentor. You always have the chance to say, not a good time. But you may say, it's a great time, and get me in the game. I want to help this guy out, and we hook you up, and it's that simple. We'll give each of you each other's contact information, get you guys connected, and really through sharing your story and your experiences and your positive attitude, which clearly you have, can feel it through Skype, is a great thing. You're going to change your life.
Hey, Johnny, it's Danielle. I have somebody online who's watching through the Ustream that wants to know, if they wanted to become an angel, what is that process? Like, what does that look like?
Great question. So if you want to become an angel, it is very, very simple. There's a couple ways to do it. You've ever reached out and asked that, we'd love to have you. I mean, the more people we have, the more one-on-one connections, the more friendships we make. And of course, everything is free across the board. Even with things like Skype, everything's free. I mean, they can Skype each other free, which is great. But the best way to do it, there's really 2 main ways. Number one, you can pick up the phone and you can call 866-IMMERMAN, which is IMERMAN. Or it's 312-274-5529. That's one way. And I think Danielle and Scott have brochures there in the office, so or in the living room. So if you didn't get that, you can ask me again, or you can grab one of them from those guys. Or the other way to do it, you can do it all over the phone if you like. The other way is if you go online to ImmermanAngels.org. ImmermanAngels.org. This is really the easiest way. We, as survivors, have developed an intake form that is about as straightforward as it can be. And you basically type in all your information about, my name is Johnny Immerman, I'm 26 years old, I just got diagnosed with this cancer, here are my chemos, and any other information, contact information, what hospital you're going to, all your information, and then click submit, and within 24 hours, we'll call you. And that way we got all your information in there, We're just going to verify it over the phone, then get to know you cancer person to cancer person and figure out, what you'd like to do. Do you need help and you want to match with a survivor? Or are you looking to become one and help somebody else out? It's very flexible. Again, it's case by case. You don't have to be X amount of time out to be an angel. And you can call us. Sometimes we get 5-year survivors that say, I'm still struggling. Or somebody that's in their 5th year of living with cancer and they're still struggling. No problem. We can hook you up with somebody who's 10 years or 12 years, even farther than you, to help you. So it's really, really open. Whatever helps people is our guide. Whatever you want out of our network, our job is to efficiently find that perfect person. And the magic is getting you guys hooked up one-to-one at the right time.
Grab the mic, Lane. There you go.
Does your organization give mentors or information? My specific, it's not really a problem, it's just something that's coming up. I've had 2 oncologists, one in the very, very beginning and one that I'm using now that wants to stop chemo. And it scares me to do that, and I'm getting a second opinion tomorrow from Dr. Dormady. I'm afraid to stop it because I've done it for 4.5 years, and I'm on Alimta right now. I get very sick, and I wondered if your organization has someone who stopped chemo and what happened for them. Hopefully they're still alive. And I don't mean to joke about that, but that's what frightens me. I'm not exactly a young chicken, so maybe that is a good way to go rather than get so sick. So is there someone in your organization that I could talk to that might have had that same experience?
Thank you for asking that. Absolutely, there is someone. Even more important, though, from a cancer person to a cancer person, I'm so glad that if your doctor's telling you one thing and they want to stop and you don't want to, I could not agree more with your decision to get a second opinion or a third opinion and ask around where else, they may be willing to say, well, we think, there's hope here and there's a chance here. And obviously, if there's that fight left in you, that's what you want to do, good luck. And it's exactly what I would do in that situation. For sure, is to get another opinion and not just take one doctor as the only opinion. But yes, to answer your question, absolutely. We can find you somebody, and it's all about timing, of course, to find somebody else at the same time who's approached that same exact situation where the doctor said, hey, you need to, we're not going to continue treatments anymore, and what they've done. And we have all that kind of information captured in our notes when we bring everybody and do our intake form and all these people, so we could find you someone just like you. The broader answer to your question, that's a part of it. The broader answer is we can drill down sometimes 20, 30 levels in terms of age, gender, cancer type, stage level, treatments, side effects, transplant, no transplant, autologous transplant versus allogeneic transplant. There's so many different types. Religion is another one. Sometimes people will call and say, I'm Catholic, and faith is a big part of my fight, and I want another survivor who's also Catholic because I think we'll connect better. No problem. Our job is just to find you whatever you want. So whatever people want, we hunt it down, and we try to find it for them. And we're constantly recruiting to get this database to grow so we have those people when people need them. Even things like sexual orientation, people have asked us for that too. I want someone who's gay or who's straight. That's fine too. All this information, if it's important to someone, we're going to get it done for them. Language is another one. There's certain people that speak multiple languages. We have a translator who can help as well with that. But lots of times we have multilingual survivors. A lot of our European survivors, as you all know, they speak a lot more languages than the most Americans. We have a lot of we have survivors, of course, all over the world, over 60 countries, and a lot of them are multilingual. So that way we're able to hook you up that way. And you can Skype just like we're doing now with somebody across the world. It's really whatever you want. We've had people call and say, I just got diagnosed with cancer. I'm 35 and I'm 5 months pregnant. we're going to find that woman, if it's important to her, another woman who says, yeah, 6 years ago, I was in my 30s and I got diagnosed when I was 5 months pregnant. I mean, we get that specific, that granular, that technical, because that's what people are looking for. Maybe it's marital problems they're having. Maybe it's family dynamics of dealing with a wife with cancer and taking care of your kids and getting to work and getting your wife to chemo and getting her to her work. And you just want to speak to someone that had the same situation. As granular, as technical as you want to get, our job is to go out there and find it for you.
Johnny, can you talk a little bit about the funding of Immerman's Angels? Where the money has come from, where do you seek it, and everything? How do you run the organization?
Absolutely. We are a very small organization. There's only 5 of us, full-time. Again, 4 of us are survivors. The number one source of funding that we have is a Chicago Marathon team. We have 150 runners in Chicago, October 7th this year, so it's coming up about 7 weeks from now. And 150 runners just about every year run for us in Chicago. And each runner raises, roughly about $1,000. So it's about $150,000, and our budget's about $600,000. So that's, almost a third, of our overall budget. A lot of those runners are also survivors. We've got about, I'd say 40 to 50, about a third are cancer survivors, and everybody's touched by it in some way, caregiver or otherwise. That's a big chunk. We also do a lot of events in Chicago as well, local events. We've been very flattered that the Chicago community has really supported us. And our biggest event we did last year, we had 3,000 people who came out for the cause, and many of them survivors and a lot of them local survivors. But 3,000 people, of course, is a great way, which I always say, awareness is more important. I mean, awareness is number one. It spreads the word. We get on the microphone, we talk to 3,000 people, just like we're doing tonight. It spreads the word so we can reach more people and help more people. But it also does bring in some funds at the same time. Those are the main ways that we've raised funds through events. I guess all events, the marathon being the biggest event that we do. Yeah, and we get a little support for some other nonprofits who fund programs like ours. So we get a little funding also from other nonprofits. We're one of the 4 official partners of Livestrong, of Lance Armstrong's foundation. So they've been very generous on the awareness side and pipelining, referring people to us who need us, and then also a little bit on the funding side too. So that's been helpful to us as well. We got just like we do with the Addario folks, we have a great relationship with Livestrong, American Cancer Society, everybody. We work with everybody. And just as you all feel, we all do as cancer people, it's one team, one fight. And if there's anything I can do or we can do to help any organizations you guys are involved with, please ask me. Please let me know. Any doors I can open or things I can do, it's an honor to help. As we all know, it's one team, one fight. Any more questions? Please don't be shy. You can ask me anything. Promise I won't be offended about anything.
I have a question for you. If people decide to become an angel, you had mentioned something about training, and I was wondering what type of training that would entail, because obviously you're dealing with someone going through an extremely, oftentimes a very new and extremely emotional situation, and sometimes you're having to, give it's almost like bereavement, I guess, and helping people more with the psychological side of it as well as the physical, but it's really the emotional, the effect on your family, whether it's your spouse or your family or friends or whatever. I mean, it's a bomb that goes off in your life. And how do you help the people that are your angels be successful in helping those that are coming to them for help?
That's a good question. So what we did to make sure that we got that job done to make sure everyone was screened and trained and people felt comfortable when we say, hey, look, you know, Neil or whoever, we've got somebody for you to talk to. Instead of making you feel like we just push you out there, that you feel comfortable and that you've been trained and you're someone who knows your cancer, you know, very closely and very well, but you feel that you're not just pushed out there, you understand. So what we've done is we put together a medical advisory board, Other Women Angels, and there's about 14 MDs, you know, oncologists, PhD therapists, social workers. It's kind of a diverse group. It's mostly Chicago-based, but there's one near you, Lance Armstrong's oncologist, Dr. Craig Nichols, who is an amazing, inspirational guy who sends us, I don't know how many kids with testicular cancer he sends us a year, but a lot. And he's near you guys. He's in Oregon, and he's been helpful as well. I'm the director of Western Cancer Center, Dr. Steve Rosen. He's on this board also. He's a local guy, 10 blocks from where I am right now in Chicago. And these guys helped us build. We basically went to the medical board and said, look, you guys are doctors, you're nurses, you're social workers. How do we do the training right that you guys bless what we're doing and feel comfortable? And we, the survivors, bless what we're doing. And together, this whole thing works. We've got all sides covered, all the bases covered. And what we've come up with jointly is what I think is the best system, is that, again, people live all over the world, so we can't expect them like you to come into our office tomorrow morning and do a training session in person, right? That's a little difficult. So what we do is we do the training over the phone. It's about a 15 to 20 minute training, so it's not extensively long, but we go over some points, some to-dos and not to-dos. And this list and this training we come up with together. Again, the medical professionals plus the survivors. And we have also come up with a manual of to-dos and not to-dos, which we call the Mentor Angel Guidebook. That's our training manual. And it's about 7 pages. It's short, it's little, but 7 pages, pretty dense. And what we do is when you become an angel, we email you a digital copy of it. So you can just go online and read it and keep it with you. You can keep it in your inbox, you know, as long as you want, you know, if you want to refer to it at any point during mentoring. And a lot of the stuff that we train over the phone is also in this guidebook. So it's all written down so people don't feel like they forget. And if you don't have internet access, you can't afford it, that's just fine. We're going to put one in the mail, a hard copy, and we'll mail it to your house. So that's what we've done. We've come up with this training program that everyone, when they originally get involved, they get a 20-minute, you know, over-the-phone training and a couple pointers of what to do and what not to do. Of course, the big to-dos are, you know, you want to keep it positive. You also want to keep a lot of the talk about the person you're helping, or you're the angel, you're helping them. You want to share a lot of yourself, but not too much. You know, the goal is to help the other person, and you want to keep it positive, and you want to, of course, be. If you commit to say, I'm going to call you on Tuesday night before your surgery on Wednesday, you know, you want to stick to that. You know, you want to be dependable, of course. And another thing that I really believe that's in the manual, it's really important, that sometimes people, they don't even need a phone call. Sometimes, I mean, maybe they'll call you when they need you, but a simple text message or an email, just saying statements and no questions, saying, I'm thinking about you, I'm in your corner, I care a ton about you, you know, I'm sending you good energy and good thoughts, wishing tomorrow's a good day of chemo, you know, love Johnny. I mean, something like that, those little bursts of good energy go a long way. And a lot of survivors know that. I realize I'm speaking to the choir a little bit here, preaching to the choir, but little things like that, where we make it really simple for people to feel like you're being a good mentor and a good role model, and you're making a difference, and that's the whole goal. You know, that we're making a friendship from someone who really needs one. Does that answer your question? Good. Good.
Johnny, it's Danielle again. I know you still can't see me because I'm back in this corner, but
there's somewhere.
somebody online wants to know what, you know, in a rough number, I guess, your lung cancer angel group looks like, and are you looking for angels in specific to lung cancer? Like, what's that number look like?
Great question. Right now, I would say we have several dozen lung cancer survivors in the network. Probably, that's a conservative estimate. Probably 50 to 75, something like that, who are lung cancer angels that mentor with us from all different stage levels. There's a woman here, Terry, who's 8 years out in the suburbs of Chicago, and Terry has mentored over 100 people one-to-one. She's a stage 3B lung cancer survivor, 0 evidence of disease. I just saw her last week. She's a personal fan favorite of ours in the office. She comes in all the time. And, some people mentor, someone like Terry mentors one-on-one, sometimes 2 to 3 people in a week, new people. She just takes so many people. Not that everyone has to do that many. Some people say I can only mentor 1 a year. That's fine. Or once every 2 years. That's fine. It's very flexible. But some of our lung cancer survivors are really passionate about giving back, and they mentor. Terry will say, I'll mentor as many people as you can send me. And sometimes we send her multiple in a week. And she's taken on each one of them. But there's a strong group, and there's small cell survivors as well as non-small cell survivors in that group. And again, all different stage levels and ages. But yes, the answer is we are always looking for more lung cancer survivors who want to give back and join. And actually, how we met Terry originally was a group called Longevity, who has an office here in Chicago. You guys may know Longevity. And Terry was involved with Longevity. And she said, I want to share my story more. I want to get involved more. I want to tell my story. I want to motivate people. Kind of similar to how I was when I was diagnosed. I just want to share my story and motivate some other young kid and say, look, man, you can beat this and you can run marathons because I am. And you can do it. If I am, you can do it. And so just like with you guys right now with Addario, Longevity sent her to us, and she's been actively involved for over 5 years, for a long time. But we have over 4,000 survivors. We're looking to hopefully one day have 4 million plus survivors. And we want as many angels of as many cancers, as many stories, as many people, as many caregivers as we can find to register. Because as Lance Armstrong once said, unity is strength. And when survivors unite and this union gets bigger and bigger and bigger, we just get stronger and the matches get better and better.
Sorry, it's me, Danielle, again. How does the caregiver support process work the same way, Johnny? Like the caregiver angels?
It does. The caregiver angels portion, the one-to-one, is basically the same thing. For example, again, Hope, I'm sorry to pick you out again, but let's say, Hope calls us and she says, I didn't have cancer, but my husband did. And, he passed away and I'm alone and this is hard. And my life partner at 35, I never imagined would not be here. We would match Hope and talk to her and comfort her and get you, Hope, connected to another woman who's 42 and say, well, we know someone who's 42 and she was 35 7 years ago, identical situation. She's just, past the finish line and you're, at mile 1 of the marathon. You should talk to her. She's in a much better place, and simply link them one-to-one. But it's the same shared experience from the same viewpoint. It was as close as we can find in terms of age, gender, cancer type, or whatever's important to Hope. She may say, it doesn't matter if it's a husband and he lost his wife because it's the same thing and I don't care about the gender, then we may hook you up with a husband. It's completely your call. It's completely what is going to help you, Hope, the most. But it works the same way.
Gotcha.
That actually, to add a little more flavor to that, and I sort of feel very ignorant that I didn't think about that piece in the beginning. When we first started this, we just thought, wait, let's find the guys that are sick. Let's find them. Let's find the survivors and just hook them up one-to-one. And then what happened was we started getting a random phone call from someone in California or Tulsa, Oklahoma, saying, well, I'm 17 and my mom has breast cancer or lung cancer, and I'm in high school and none of my friends understand and I'm so scared and I'm alone. We said, well, we got to help this girl. We can't do, we got to help them. And maybe the mother, we hook the mom up and that's great, but the daughter's struggling. So we take that 17-year-old girl and say, well, here's another girl who's a senior in college. She's 22, and her name's Amy. She goes University of Richmond. And, you know, when she was 17 in high school, she had the same situation. Her mom had that same cancer. So she's been there. She's identical to you, and you guys should know each other. We hook them up. It works like magic. It's the right friendship at the right time from the right person.
Another online question, Johnny, from somebody with at the Ustream is, and you, I'm sure you're not sitting in front of your database right now, but they want to know about stage 4 patients. Like, and typically, and you know, most patients diagnosed with lung cancer are in the later stages, right, 3 or 4. So I'm guessing that's probably where a lot of your angels are coming from, but somebody wants to know specifically.
We do see for lung cancer a lot of advanced cases. That is definitely right, Danielle. Stage 3 or stage 4. It's really, again, case by case. If someone calls and says, I'm stage 3B or I'm stage 4, and my doctors are saying that, you know, it's in the bone and we're not going to be able to, you know, get this out, but I'm going to live with this and keep this in check for the next 5, 10 years plus, no problem. And if they say, look, I want to reach somebody who's 10 years, you know, living with stage 4 or 5 years or 10 years or 12 or whatever, we're going to find someone like that who is living with it also in the same scenario. You know, someone like Maggie Daley, for example, in Chicago, you know, who the mayor's wife, the just former mayor's wife, Richard Daley's wife, you know, the average person with stage 4 breast cancer lives 28 months. She lived 5 times that. She lived over almost 10 years, just shy of 10 years with it. And we have situations like that where someone like Maggie Daley could be mentoring other people who are just heard the stage 4 diagnosis. So any stage level, if you're shooting for the cure, we're going to find you someone that's been cured, the most similar person who's been cured. And if you say, look, I want to live with it, which we call thrivers, you're going to thrive with the cancer and you're going to make the best out of every day and every moment in your life and accept that, hey, this is probably going to be in me forever and I'll be on chemo forever, but I'm going to make the best of every moment I've got here and it's going to be a lot longer than what the doctors think, then that's great. We'll find you someone who fought with that same situation. It's apples to apples.
Does anybody else have any questions for Johnny? No? No? We're good online? All right. Nobody has any more questions, Johnny.
Well, I want to say thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Scott. Love the work that you guys all do. You're making friendships right here in front of us. That's the #1 thing I believe this cancer will need is more love, more hugs, more friendships. That's definitely what we need. And thank you to everybody there for sharing their stories. If there's anything that we can do, you know, from Chicago, please reach out to us. We'd love to help. Or if you want to get involved to mentor other people, please get involved. But I wish everybody well, most importantly, and keep strong. And I think Neil had the best motto of the conversation today. You know, don't give up, don't give in. So wishing everybody all my best. Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, Johnny. So I can't remember when I first met Johnny. It was like a few years ago, a couple years ago. I don't remember exactly when. And I remember thinking, well, actually, I think it was Andrea that met him first. And she's like, oh my God, you have to meet this guy, Johnny. She's like, he's one of the most positive, happy, amazing, most amazing person I've ever met in my life, right? So I finally got around to meeting Johnny. And it was one of those things where I looked at Andrea, I was like, you're right. He is one of the happiest, most positive, amazing people. Like, who is that happy and that positive all the time? Johnny. Like, that is just how he rolls, this day-to-day thing. And we were in Chicago.
June for...
No, it was before that. It wasn't for ASCO. It was the time before that we were in Chicago. Anyway, when we met Johnny for dinner.
Oh, for dinner, yeah.
I don't remember where it was, but we would go to meet him for dinner at this restaurant, and he brought 2 other people, because Johnny, when he says he's all about connecting people and collaborating and people partnering and you know, I mean, he truly means it like us. Like, what can we do to work together? But he's all these people, and he walks into the restaurant, and he was literally like the mayor of Chicago. He walks in, and people in the restaurant, you were, right? And they're like, wait, Immerman Angels, wait. Do you know that, like, that Johnny guy? And he's like, kind of like, and people are like, and it's like, yeah, that is that Johnny guy, right? So it was really cute, and I can't express enough how wonderful we think he is and what he's doing, and not only recognizing, you know, the need for cancer patients to be able to connect with someone else, because cancer can be an insanely lonely place, right? And especially when we're talking about lung cancer, where there's a whole other set of issues that kind of go along with it, right? Between the stigma and up until very recently, the sort of lack of, you know, treatment options and whatnot. It was, you know, it's a scary place. And so what he's doing and the way that he's able to connect people so that they're not feeling so alone, and not only recognizing that need, but recognizing the caregiver need and the loved one need, and that you know, it's the cancer patient themselves have their one set of issues, but then the family members, the caregivers, and everybody else kind of living and loving that cancer patient have a completely different set of issues, you know, that all needs nurturing and supporting. And the simple fact that Johnny's able to put that together in a real-time, big picture sort of way for everyone is really amazing. So we love you, Johnny.
We love you guys. Thank you for all you do in the lung cancer world. And again, we're all stronger together. So you guys are awesome. We love all you guys.
That's it. All right.
Johnny, we'll let you go. It's probably late there.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what that is. Have a great night, Johnny.
We'll see you.
Can hear us. Are you hanging up on him?
Yeah.
So a couple of things before we close, and this is probably one of the quickest closes we've ever done. I want to, I think you guys have gotten emails from me, and hopefully not from every person at this organization, but the San Francisco 5K is getting ready to come up. It is an amazing day. We'd obviously love for you guys to create teams and come up there and join us. You don't have to create a team to come up there and join us. You're more than welcome to join Bonnie's team. It's called Bonnie's Heroes. It's a whole group of patients that are kind of joining her team. Joining a team, creating a team, doesn't mean you actually have to walk the entire 5K. You can just come up. We're going to have a living room tent up there for all of us to kind of hang out and just kind of be together and show support. It's an amazing day. I know some of you have been and have participated. It's a beautiful, you know, setting at the bandshell out there at Golden Gate Park. The way we have it all set up, it's a doing, right? It's a big doing.
Yeah,
when
I
it
think
comes to
for
it.
those of you who haven't been there, what's great about it is it's a real community feel, and you'll recognize that there's 3,000 people there that are all trying to support what we're trying to do here, which is raise money, awareness, and improve the survival rate of lung cancer patients, and maybe someday find treatment options that would be a cure. So the thing that I think is greatest about it when we do these around the country is how grateful the patients and their family members that show up at these races feel that they're part of something that's actually making a difference and actually going to actually do something to improve the survival rate and the lives of lung cancer patients. And it doesn't just have to be patients. There's a lot of family members, friends that show up and come and support and help raise money and raise awareness. And if you have the time and want to do something good and feel good about what we're trying to do, it's a really great day. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a time. September 16th. So for anybody who's interested or wants more information, there are little cards. They should be on the tables in front of you about the days. And Jennifer, over here in the blue, is happy to answer any questions and help you, you know, in any way, shape, or form to figure this day out. It's a really amazing day. Yeah, I told him about the living room tent, and I will be in the living room tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It won't be live streamed at that point, though.
No, nobody has to be on camera that day.
And if they haven't guessed tonight, I'm not Bonnie. For those of you who don't know me,
I was just going to say.
I'm Scott Santarella. I'm the president of the organization, sort of sitting in for Bonnie. My hair's almost as short as hers, but
Yeah. Yeah.
But Danielle didn't want to be up here alone tonight, so I told that I would
I'm like,
sit in and.
Somebody should sit in that chair next to me.
We want
Don't
it to
you
be
think?
empty. Yeah.
So that's that about the 5K, and then
Let me talk about this real quick.
I do, but
Okay.
can I say one other
Yeah,
thing really
go
quick?
ahead.
Okay, and Elizabeth has it. I have another thing? Okay, so one of the things I wanted to say that I think is really cool about this group and the Ustreaming and whatnot, and I know I say it been saying it for the last couple months since we've been trying to get this out there and push it out to everybody. But Elaine mentioned the Monterey Cancer Wellness Group, which is where she was currently going, or formerly going when she was living down in Monterey. And Jackie McNamara, who some of you know, she drives up when she can so she can participate live and in person here. Otherwise, I'm sure she's online tonight, or she said she was going to be streaming in. She has brought the attention of this group to the group down in Monterey, and people down there are so excited about it, able to participate, especially with Johnny coming in and talking tonight, because it's not cancer specific, it's just cancer patients across the board. So they were really excited about that. And there's another woman who I've been in contact with recently who has a support group in New York, and so they were also really excited, and it's a lung cancer support group, really excited to be able to participate via the Ustream with what we're doing here. So we are really making a big difference in having an impact in bigger numbers. I think prior to this group, we'd reached about 900 and some odd people with what we're doing here that we wouldn't have otherwise been able to reach. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of information. Is that what I'm supposed to say? What am I forgetting?
Me? Oh, Carmel?
No, Liz is. Oh, I'm going to let you tell that. You know what? Can we please let before we ask?
Absolutely.
Elizabeth, will you please
Patients
pick it up and invite people?
Patients have the floor always here. You know that.
Well, a little while, several months ago, several of the survivors found out about an organization that Godiva Chocolate has started, and it's called the Lady Godiva Award, and it's an award that's given to people that are making a difference in their communities. And we nominated Bonnie once before, and she was not chosen, but I just received notification. Actually, Bonnie received notification. She sent it to me that she was chosen as one of the people nominated for this award. And what's wonderful about it is that not only that the people that are nominated, they have three different, essentially, areas. There's Midwest, West, South, and East, I think, or something like that. But they have three different areas, and someone will be chosen in each one of those regions, let's call them, and they'll receive $1,000. But every 2 years, they give an award for $10,000 that goes to this person's cause. But what is most important, I believe, is to raise awareness of obviously what's going on with lung cancer. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to do a little bit more research, because I just found out that she was nominated. And what happens is that people in the community vote, essentially, for the person that they want to win. And what we can do is, I'm not asking you to do this, but please do vote at least once. But what you can do is vote on a daily basis. And so obviously it's kind of a popularity contest, but in order to spread the words, please tell your friends. I'll try to write the email so that you can simply just go to it and click on it and then go to her particular site. I'm still trying to figure that out. So anyway, please keep an eye out for it. It's called the Lady Godiva Award. If you don't get the information, just put in Lady Godiva, and it'll either say Lady Godiva Program or Lady Godiva Award, and look for fall nominations. And unfortunately, there's quite a few people on it right now. I think she's on page 15 or 16, and what I'm trying to do is get her picture on it. But the nominations, the voting essentially doesn't start until the 28th of this month, and then goes on, I think, for about 2 months. So if you would, try to spread the word and just kind of get everybody, exactly, put it on your Facebook pages, send it to your friends, so that we can at least raise awareness, if nothing else, and get people realizing that lung cancer shouldn't have the stigma that it has, and more importantly, change the survival rate by supporting this worthwhile cause.
So we thank Elizabeth for sort of taking the lead on this, and Bonnie, I think, has kind of been pseudo-aware of it, but it'd be a nice surprise, I think, if we were able to do this for her and her efforts. And, you know, we're all, I think, admire and respect her a great deal for what she's been able to achieve and accomplish through the organization. And sort of in that light, and following up on what Danielle had said earlier, one of the things we wanted to do tonight was obviously thank everyone for coming out and participating in this living room, thanking all those that are on the TV screen and watching from wherever they are in their own living rooms. One of the things that's most important for us is to get your feedback and comments. And when we do that, we don't just take them and read them and not do anything with them. We actually share them with our researchers, our doctors, other patients, and our supporters, as well as some of our industry folks, so that they can better understand what you're dealing with as patients, and how they can do a better job in providing potential treatment options and other technologies that will help lung cancer patients specifically. So please feel free to give us all of your feedback and information. The other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to thank Biodesix and Genentech, which are two pharmaceutical and biotech companies that are helping us through funding to support this living room and the living rooms that we've been able to provide people. One of the things that this living room has allowed us to do is reach people globally, which is a pretty amazing thing, thinking about, you know, a year and a half ago, we're sitting here in San Carlos reaching 45, 50 people every month, and now we're reaching a couple thousand all over the world. And that's really pretty powerful. And someday we hope we're reaching tens of thousands of people. So we couldn't do that without you being in here asking questions, people like Johnny, the doctors that we bring in to talk to all of you and provide information. So that's really important to us. And then finally, thank you all and any of you that have provided us your own support. We can't do anything we do without donations. I think Neil asked Johnny how he raises money. Most of the money we raise, 80% of the money, comes from individuals, people like yourselves, your family members. We do raise money through foundations and pharmaceutical companies, but it's individuals that care about lung cancer and awareness and the research that we're trying to fund. So we can't thank you enough for all of that. And I know Danny is in the back room shaking her head yes, because she's, you know, the consummate fundraiser, but also the consummate recognizer, and thank you. So thank you all for that. We really appreciate it. And then Danielle had me one last note here. Bonnie actually was chosen to speak at an incredible conference held by Faster Cures, which was a organization founded by Mike Milken, which started as a prostate cancer group, but then grew quickly into what we experience and what we've all experienced, which is the frustration with research not moving along fast enough. How can we actually quicken the process to get cures for all diseases? And Bonnie actually was selected to speak on one of the panels in DC in 2 weeks about her experience as a patient, and not just on the lung cancer side, but her experience on the healthcare side. How do we actually do a better job with healthcare and with oncology in healthcare to actually get patients the treatments they need, access to the treatments they need, and get them through the process of what can sometimes be just an unbearable experience. So we're really proud of some of the things that she's now being recognized for, and she's truly becoming a voice for lung cancer patients worldwide. And I think she's inspired to do that by what she hears from all of you every week she's here. Her favorite night of the month is this night, and she's not here, so she's gonna, one of the first things she'll say to Danielle and I tomorrow is, how did the living room go? She'll want to know. It will be one of the first things on her mind, because she loves seeing all of you, and she gets, I think, energy and inspiration from all of you as well, so as we all do. Yeah. So I can't thank you enough for coming out on the middle of August and being part of what we're trying to do here. So it's been great. Anything else?
A couple things. Sorry, I know.
Danielle always wants the last word, as you know.
I know, well, maybe. Yes, Mary.
Sure,
of course.
Absolutely. Use the mic. Mike can, Neil can talk without a mic, because he talks loud like I do. So.
Before we adjourn, because I didn't get the names of those two drugs that you said that are after Tarceva.
So afatinib is a Pfizer drug.
Can you spell it?
Afatinib is AFATINIB. It is a Pfizer drug, which the closest location, I think, for the trial, phase 3 trial right now is University of Colorado at Aurora.
Oh.
And that has not yet been approved by the FDA. The The other drug in combination with it to do the research on is cetuximab, which has been approved and is available for prescription, and it's CETUXIMAB. And I noticed that on the program listings for the future months, one of the main researchers and perhaps one of the most knowledgeable people about that particular drug in the phase 3 trial is someone who was just given an award by this foundation. Dr. Ross Camage will be here. I assume here, I don't know if it's on.
No, he's going to be here live. Yeah.
Live. So
It will be a night you won't want to miss.
Give us all the information at that point, but the trial has been going on for some period of time. There is some literature on it already available, but it is not yet approved as a combination for your or my doctor to approve at this point. But it is probably apropos to what Bonnie will talk about after a presentation in 2 weeks in Washington, as far as faster tracking of drugs. And there is some recognition of that recently with the ALK drug, which Dr. Camage also was very involved in doing.
They can't hear him online. Oh, they can't hear him online?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry about that. But Dr. Camage also was involved in the ALK, which was approved last year, that particular drug, crizotinib. So any of us who have been taking Tarceva, so that's the cousin to it, and that's the first generation of that particular drug. So I would just urge anyone of our group here or online to look at that particular trial, but also all the others. And may I also second what Scott has said just earlier. My thanks to all of the drug companies, the medical device companies, and we have so many around here. We're very fortunate to have Genentech, who's one of the donors to the foundation here, among many other places. But there are so many other companies that we have, Accuray and Onyx and Exelesis and other companies that are doing great work. And being someone who travels a lot, I can tell you how envious people are of the fact that we are right in the middle of where so much of the action is. And we have hospitals that we can drive to and don't have to fly to for all types of treatment in that part there. So again, thank you to all of those companies. Every morning since I started Tarceva, I say thanks to Genentech, OSI, and my friends there for making that drug, because 5 years ago, it probably was not going to be available to let me have the last bonus year, as many of you who have taken it, understand very completely how wonderful having that there, and that begins the whole process of getting something that's even better.
So there's a really unique thing that's happened here, and I'm glad this actually came up, because as an organization that raises money to fund research, we've funded the work that Dr. Camage has done. And what's unique about Dr. Camage, he's a PhD and he's an MD, so he's treating patients, but he's also a laboratory guy, and he wants to know what he can do to try to come up with new treatment options. And funding that we gave him early on is some of the work that he's done on the ALK gene. We're actually in the process of funding him with some more money to do something on the RET, which is another biomarker that we found within lung cancer that can help. And then the fact that we can bring him in to talk to not only this group of patients in the room, but that we're going to live stream it so that he can say what he's going to say to patients across the world is pretty amazing. And I think it's one of the things that, Johnny hinted at in his speech. What BJA, LCF has always been about is about collaboration. The beauty of Bonnie is she never thought she could do any of this on her own. And it's been a combination of working with people like Dr. Camage and the University of Colorado, companies like Genentech, getting feedback from patients like you in the room, Danielle's work in getting patients engaged and empowering them to actually be part of the process. Bonnie's like, I want a seat at the table. Patients should get a seat at the table. She's absolutely right. The fact that we're able to pull all that together as an organization that, is, 15 of us around the country trying to do this is pretty amazing. And I think that is a testament to the help that you give us, both financially but also in raising awareness. And the more that we can do that, and the more that we can get Ross Camages of the world engaged with us and doing the research that they're doing, the more success we're going to have in actually extending lives. And that's what's really exciting. That's what gets me excited about what we do here, because we bring so much of this together, and then it all fits nicely into the puzzle of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. I think Dr. Kamich is coming in January. And he, I think the very first time I met him in person was actually in Amsterdam at World Lung, and my mom and I went and met him for lunch, and he's incredibly charming over email and the telephone, but when you actually meet him in person and you see the passion behind what it is he's doing and what he believes in and how he sees this all kind of happening, I mean, it's infectious. So, I mean, it's definitely...
It's one you won't want to miss if you can be here.
If you can be here live.
You will be glad that you came.
Yeah.
He's pretty incredible.
He's extremely brilliant and charismatic, and is now caught up on his sleep because he just had a new baby last year. So he's great though. He'll be amazing to come see in January. Couple of things, Jenny. Here's that. A couple of things. I know Linda, who's new here tonight, she is going to be at our Saratoga run, which is on Sunday, obviously in Saratoga. And I just want to give a shout out to Jayshree. I don't know if she's online or not, but she unfortunately lost her sister Susie to lung cancer a few years ago, and started her own run in Saratoga, which has grown to be an insanely successful event, a great way for her to honor the memory of her sister, and so we're all excited about that, so I just wanted to give her a shout about that. I also wanted to tell you people, everybody here and online, if you have not gone to the greatlungrun.org and seen Kelsey and what she's doing. I think I talked to you guys about her, or my mom did. Somebody mentioned it at the last meeting. She took off from New York, and her plan is to run from New York to San Francisco. She was planning on running about 30 miles a day. She's been averaging about 40.
Incredible, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's really inspirational.
It's insanely inspirational. And you can, if you have Facebook, you can follow her through Jill's Legacy. You can go to the Jill's Legacy website, jillslegacy.org, or to thegreatlungrun.org to kind of see the pictures that she's been taking and some of the support she's been getting and what she's been doing. It's I don't even know what to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, Neil probably is one of the people in the room that could really appreciate what
she's doing.
The physical and mental capacity that you need to have to do something like that. But for this young woman to do it on behalf of her, a friend that she lost to lung cancer, trying to get rid of the stigmas, as Liz said before, generate awareness, and it's already raised $116,000 or so in support for people that are making donations in her honor. It's really an incredible story and accomplishment.
Yeah,
so we're really excited about it.
It really is, and you have to check it out because it's just.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So.
We good?
I'm good. Everybody good? Oh, we have another
What else?
question.
And as you know, Sheila's not here. She wasn't feeling well tonight, so Jen's Sheila's substitute. So one of the reasons Grow a Foundation, you have substitutes, so when people aren't here, we can fill in for one another.
A long, awkward pause.
Sorry. It's .org for the...
Oh, greatlungrun.org. Okay.
Isn't that what did I not say
I think you
.org?
said .com. That's okay.
Sorry, thegreatlungrun.org. That's what Sheila was trying to tell us from home, because although she's not here, she's here. Right? Oh yeah, next month. Oh, so I think I started the meeting off telling, if you didn't grab one on the way out on the sign-in table, there's a new flyer with the dates and the speakers coming. Take note of the speakers, but also take note in November. The meeting was scheduled to be on the 20th because that's the third Tuesday, but that's Thanksgiving week. So we've bumped it out to the 27th. So there's a date change in November. Next month, Dr. Dormady's coming back to talk to us. Elaine, you'll get to meet him tomorrow. He just got back from vacation, so he should be very well rested and smiley. Not like he's not always, because he's always that way. He's coming back in September to he's done it before, but he's going to do it again to explain to everybody the importance of a multidisciplinary approach to lung cancer, making sure that all the members of your medical team and the support team are working together, are talking to one another, what that looks like, what it means, and the whole 360 program that I've talked to a lot of you about already, and we've mentioned it several of the living rooms is coming to fruition, and he's gonna give everybody.
He's going to sort of launch our 360 program,
Yeah.
which El Camino Hospital is going to be the pilot program for what we're calling our 360 program, which we hope will be successful enough that we'll take that pilot and start implementing in other local community hospitals. We're looking at a community hospital system in Atlanta, one in Florida, maybe one in Texas. But our goal is to try to get El Camino to set the standard of how lung cancer patients should be treated, like they are in breast cancer, where you get diagnosed and you go through a litany of checklist of items that you know you're going to get the right care. If we can do this, which we think we can, and Shane's been a huge champion for this, we're going to try to take that as a model and implement it around the country and give a BJA LCF sort of seal of approval so that the hospital would actually get our endorsement as a hospital that's following this 360 program, and then we would be making recommendations to patients within that area that that's the hospital we would recommend that you go to because you get the best care.
Would be considered a true lung cancer center of excellence, not just for the sake of someone giving them the center of excellence, sort of stamp, but there's protocol, and it begins with, early detection, runs through, I've found a nodule, now what, and what happens next, what the process is, what that looks like, what should be happening. So things that we here at the foundation are able to provide to patients in one-offs, like, this, and this, and bringing it, once again, kind of like we've tried to do with the living room, take our knowledge, what we know, and get it out to more people than those that are just fortunate enough to have kind of landed on our doorstep, So the 360 program, we think, is going to be a game changer as far as the standard of care for lung cancer. So that's what Shane's going to talk about. Yes, Esty?
Is El Camino Hospital part of Palo Alto Medical Foundation?
Yes.
Well, some of the,
right?
so they're connected. So some of the doctors, and this, I'm still so confused about how this whole Palo Alto Medical Foundation thing works. Yes, it's Sutter Health. So Palo Alto Medical Foundation has doctors contracted with them that work out of several different hospitals, right? So some of the docs that work at El Camino Hospital are PAMF doctors, but not necessarily all of them. So it's not a PAMF hospital. Palo Alto Medical Foundation does have an outpatient hospital down there, but it's not a full service community hospital like exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh.
The which? The question?
The question was, is El Camino Hospital part of Palo Alto Medical Foundation?
Right.
And the answer was, it is in an indirect way. They're collaborative and they work together, not tied together, I think, legally, but certainly working together for the benefit of oncology and lung cancer patients.
Yeah.
It's not solely PAMF, though.
No, it's not solely
Correct.
PAMF. Just like Dr. Dormandy is not a PAMF doctor, Dr. Krishna is. They both work out of El Camino Hospital. Esty, you need the microphone, sorry. Neil's behind her.
Okay. Sutter Health has taken over most of the hospitals around here in some form or another, including the Burlingame, I can't think of their name now, Burlingame is
Mills
Hospital and all of them. And like Palo Alto Medical Foundation claims they're not for profit, but Sutter Health is. So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm very curious if anyone here knows the connection.
So this should be double checked.
Yeah.
But to the best of my understanding, Palo Alto Medical Foundation is a not-for-profit.
That I know.
They do have a program through their, I'm using their hospital down in Mountain View as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Through that building, that Palo Alto Medical Foundation hospital, services that they offer there can be provided through their nonprofit based on how you qualify and where you sort of
Need.
fit in the, yeah.
Economic need.
So that is true. But Sutter, so you pick a Sutter hospital, it's not a PAMF hospital. They might have Palo Alto Medical Foundation doctors contracted to work out of that hospital, but that doesn't make the hospital a Palo Alto Medical Foundation institution. Does that make sense?
Okay, so Sutter Health is
Sutter Health is Sutter Health.
Sutter Health
Palo
is a
Alto
for-profit
Medical Foundation.
healthcare system, yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
And I thought they took over all those hospitals in some form. I don't know. I was very
That I
curious
don't
how
know.
they're
Yeah.
connected.
We can find out the answer for you. I don't know that answer either.
Sequoia was Catholic Health West,
Yeah.
and now it's Dignity Health.
Yeah, so they all belong to some
Yeah.
major.
This is why it makes it so confusing for patients, because they're consistently like,
We'll find out the answer for you,
yeah, we
Esty.
can find out,
And
Esty.
We'll let you know.
One hospital that wouldn't join Sutter Health, and
Sure.
that's Barney's Hospital here.
The which one?
The one we just, I can't
Sequoia.
remember the name.
Mills.
Not Mills. Mills is part of Sutter Health.
Peninsula?
No, the one.
El Camino.
No, the one we went to under Barney.
Sequoia.
Oh, Sequoia.
Because
They're
they-
Dignity. They used to be Catholic Health.
Yeah, I know. They said that they are not going to get involved with Sutter Health. They told me. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, Danny might know more about that. I don't know. I don't know. No. Yeah. Not sure. Not sure.
Sequoia. Yeah.
That's all I have.
We good?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
I
thanks,
can stop
everyone.
talking now.
It's been great.
Oh.
Notice that Bonnie J. Adair Lung Cancer Foundation Living Room is on television.
It is. I want to give a huge thank you so much for just saying that.
Yeah.
I need to give a huge shout out and thank you to Peninsula TV, who have as a group, all the people that work there, everybody who's been supporting us and what we're doing here, all these people you see with these cameras that blend into the walls and you don't even notice that they're here. Rocky et al., who's in the back room, who you can't see with all the really big equipment that's allowing all of this to be streamed out. They have offered us their services. They've put us on Penn TV. They're doing some really amazing things in supporting this foundation, and I cannot thank them enough from the very bottom of all of our hearts. Huge. Thank you. Now I'm done.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you next month.